Salutations, everybody. It is Matty here today with week 65 of the H.A.M Radio Podcast.
And it is me, finally, after a month, the LoneVaultWanderer.
And we are joined by a special guest today. Hello, Molly. Hi.
Hi. I go by Good Vibes on Twitch. I'm a variety Twitch broadcaster that specializes in Bethesda games, and action-adventure games, but mainly Bethesda games.
Who likes to raid other people's streams. It's great. Thank you for doing that one time, Molly, by the way.
Yeah, that's true. I did. So there.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, and apparently Molly sees me playing action-adventure games. I don't get that still. I look like the action-adventure type of guy is what you're telling me. Correct?
No, it's just like people who typically
Valley.
play Fallout like action-adventure games, like myself. Tell us about your Stardew Valley addiction. Matty, just admit it right now.
I don't have one yet. But I was telling them how the only game I bought on the Steam sale, ladies and gentlemen, was Stardew Valley, and Molly's like, I can't see you playing that. I was like, what? I never heard that before.
It's like you telling me you want to play Farmville. Like,
Oh, that's gross. That's gross.
It's the same shit, Matty, pretty much, right?
No, it's not. They're quests. And one's not on Facebook.
Okay, it's like Harvest Moon, alright?
Yes,
I'm not
alright, that's
ignorant,
a good,
okay?
Yeah, that and like Animal Crossing, apparently. I don't know, I haven't played it yet. I literally, I bought it for a rainy day. Like, I already know I'm not going to play it right away, but I bought it for a rainy day. It's the only game I bought on the Steam sale. You guys get anything on the Steam sale?
No. I've been a good boy.
I bought Doom because I'd been holding off, and then I saw it was on sale, so I bought Doom and Lego The Hobbit.
Yeah. I've been playing Lego Star Wars, so. Yeah, I feel
have you played Doom yet, Molly?
Hmm?
Have you played Doom yet, or not?
I played like, I don't know, 3 hours on stream, and I love it. It's so good.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, it's a very good game. So, Lone, you're the one with the script.
Yes.
I feel kind of lost right now, so you're going to have to lead me in. I wrote the script, ladies and gentlemen, all right? I did not do my job for the podcast this week. We all have a respective duty. I did mine, but I sent it to Lone because now with the new face cam setup we have here, I have to have Skype up because that has to record my face as well as Molly's or whoever is guesting with us. And then I have to obviously make sure everything's functioning on the other screen. So I have no room for ill script.
Yeah.
So
I'm going to be doing all the Matty's typical plugs. So Sugar Bombed, T-shirts, iTunes, Google Play, everything is going to be linked in the description below, I presume, as are timestamps. It's going to be one big BIOSHOCK fest, just saying, by the way.
We have segments this week, so there are times.
We do. And each week we want to try and get as many of you guys on as guests. So to do this, you would tweet any one of the handles on screen right now. Follow Molly on Twitter, by the way. You should totally do that. Use the hashtag HAMRadioTime and answer the following question. Are you ready for more BIOSHOCK? I fucking am. So we got the Bethesda news roundup. First of all, Fallout 4 Update 1.6 has a bunch of new features. So it adds an exit save, which is great. Workshop DLC icons and support for upcoming DLC, which we already had contraptions. I know we have Nuka World. What is the next one called? I don't pay attention to these little.
What was the Vault one?
It's just
the Vault one. That's
Vault
right.
Tech Workshop, I think. What I'm curious to see now is this is going to be an interesting perspective because what happened is when they added support for upcoming add-ons beforehand, they actually added stuff that was from the contraptions DLC. So I'm wondering, imagine if Bethesda's doing more DLC after Nuka World. We might be able to find that because of how they kind of overlapped one extra DLC, if you know what I mean.
So, Molly, do you think they're going to be doing more DLC after Nuka World?
I sure hope so. I just feel really underwhelmed with this set of DLC. I'm sure you guys have been over this, but
yeah,
I just want more places to go to outside of Boston, and I don't feel like they've really given us that like they have in past games. So I hope so. I don't think it will happen though. I think Nuka World is the last one.
It's tough. So I know Matty covered this on this channel, but as a quick recap, Todd pretty much said that Nuka World was going to be the last DLC. There was some confusion as to whether he said Fallout or Fall. We still don't really know to this day.
Yeah, there's never been an official statement.
No, there hasn't. And then Pete Hines on an IGN interview said, it might not be the last one, we're still thinking about it. And then on Twitter, some tweets he said it's the last one, some tweets he said it's the last planned DLC. So at this stage, I think the safest option to assume is that if the DLC is successful and they sell a bunch more season passes and more copies of Fallout 4 sell, then I think they'll do another DLC suite on top of it. And to be honest, don't worry about the smaller size DLC. Just do another quest DLC. You know, just it doesn't have to be a separate landmass either. Like, add a bunch of quests to the main game.
I feel like they're playing around with multiple ideas here. I think Fallout 4 sold more than Call of Duty last year, so the player base is there. So that means the DLC should continue onwards from a business perspective, in my opinion. I think the idea, personally, that they're playing around with is, do we do a Season 2 in a sense? Do they do another Season Pass and do 2017 DLC all the way? I know that sounds ridiculous, but I could totally see that.
I'd buy it.
Yeah, I could totally see them repeating what they did in 2016 for 2017. I feel like that would make sense, and I think that would be also exciting. But I know that would end up having us waiting until 2017, where I think a lot of us have moved on from Fallout. So if they're going to do it, I'd say announce that in September before the flurry of games come out.
All right, how about this? How about because they typically do 2 smaller pieces of DLC and then the big piece of story DLC, like Manuka World and the other one that I've Far Harbor. What if instead they were to do a 3-part story DLC where every month they release a new part to that big piece of story or quest DLC, which gives them time to space it out, which gives them development time, and which gives us more stories and quests to do in Fallout 4. What do you guys think about that?
Does that mean it's going to end on, like, cliffhangers?
Yes.
I don't know if
I've never been a fan of the Telltale, like...
Yeah, see, that's the thing, is that I think
most
of us would get caught just waiting until it's all finished with, so I don't think that would benefit Bethesda. It's not a bad idea, because that's a way to get quests out there. I'd be okay if they just did quest packs,
Yeah, me too.
I'd be totally fine with that. But obviously, like Molly said, I want to go to new areas too. Okay, here's the thing, because I don't want to get greedy with it. I think there's a point where there's almost too much.
Greedy fuck.
I'm saying no, because I think there comes a point with certain games where there's too much DLC. It's like, okay, can we just move on? We want to see the next entry or something like that. What I think, I've said this to you before alone, I think, but I was like, I think 3 is the magic number. Just one more, like, new location DLC is what I think would be good for
I'd be
Fallout
happy
4.
with that.
I think one more is what it needs to say, like, okay, we've done enough. But apparently, I guess the Dragonborn DLC that they did for Skyrim, the 3rd one, wasn't originally planned. That's why that one took so much longer in the other DLCs to come out. And so I think what they're doing is playing it by ear, kind of like they did with Skyrim, where they're like, okay, let's just make another one. Or, all right, we're done here. Let's not make another one. So I'm curious to see how it goes.
I mean, with everything they had planned, too, they may not have time. Like,
True.
They just might be too busy.
They just got so many 2 other projects before Elder Scrolls 6. Like, they're doing things in a completely different way to what they used to, and obviously that's partly because of the new Montreal studio that's opening up, and they're going to be playing a part. I think when they keep saying that they have 2 new projects or whatever, that Montreal studio is playing a part in those projects.
Absolutely. He actually said that.
Yeah, exactly. And whether it's mobile games, whether it's... What's that new title? Starfield or some shit?
Yeah, I'll talk about that in a sec.
No worries. Well, feel free to, as we're on the topic, my dog is just jumping all over my girlfriend. It's fucking hilarious. Wait, Bella, sit the fuck down. Girl. Anyways, guys, continue. Maddie, talk about Starfield.
So, I made a separate video on this, but we know that not many of you guys come out to the podcast compared to our video, so I'll give you guys the details here.
Fucking losers. Sorry.
Yeah. Spread the H.A.M Radio name, for God's sakes. Anyway, what Starfield is a title that was trademarked originally in 2013, I believe, and it was by ZeniMax, and ever since then, it's had a couple more registrations and trademarks continuously updated, and the latest one just happened in April, and it was like under the radar news. No one talked about it, surprisingly. Even GameSpot did, but I don't think they promoted it. And so, sorry, I hit the keyboard. But what I did was some research, and I was looking at all the Bethesda-owned studios, and I was thinking, okay, let's realistically look at this. Who could be doing a Starfield, whatever Starfield is? We're just going to call it that because that was what the trademark was for. What could this Starfield be? Who's working on it? And so this new registration was for a mobile game, which is pretty convenient since they just created a new studio that's focusing on mobile games. And it's head by the guy who helped make Fallout Shelter. He was like the head of that project. So that's one thing worth noting. Second thing worth noting is that you got Wolfenstein: The New Colossus teased. So that's Machine Games out of the way.
Fucking awesome, yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm trying to just help me out as I go here. It's Software they just did Doom and they're doing Quake Champions now, so that's one out of the way. Battlecry Studios is doing Battlecry. Arcane Studios is doing what's it called? Dishonored. Arcane Austin is doing Prey 2. I forgot to include that in my video, but regardless, we know that. So that's another one we can mark off. The only other company is the Tango Gameworks, Evil Within, that I can think of, but we don't know what they're working on. So they are fair play. They could be doing this.
Well, what about ZeniMax Online?
I mean,
they're not going to be dealing SO forever, you know?
Yeah, but they're still supporting that for a while, and they have that big one Tamriel DLC update coming out at the end of the year, and I think they have more DLC plans. So I think ESO is still very much a part of the long-term plan, especially because Tamriel Unlimited is doing well. You know, I know people when they came out and talked all those numbers, like that game's doing well. So I think they're still supporting.
People don't want to believe. Go ahead.
Yeah, even though you don't want to believe it, I know.
People don't want to believe that ESO is doing as well as it is, but it is.
Yeah,
they don't like to admit it. Exactly.
It's true though, and so that's doing well. So I doubt they'd leave it now when it's doing better than ever. It got voted best MMO last year. It's another thing. Best MMO. That's a big deal. So
well, what about the guys that created the highly acclaimed game Rogue Warrior Rebellion Developments?
I don't think they're under Bethesda anymore, though. I'm not even kidding. Because Bethesda used to like publish random games, but now they have a family, so to say, and that's what they have as all their BE3 conferences.
What about the guys that did Brink? Brink was a great game too.
Are you being sarcastic? Okay, yeah, you are. I couldn't tell the truth. You should be an actor.
Excuse my ignorance too, but is Obsidian involved with them and with anything anymore?
No.
It doesn't seem like it, to be honest.
Okay.
Aside from the backwards compatibility of New Vegas. But, so, what I'm getting at is that this Starfield is now either Tango Gameworks or Bethesda Game Studios. And Tango Gameworks does not have a mobile developer on their side. So, that leaves us Bethesda Game Studios. At least, and mind you, I did mention this in my video, by the way, but I said this is mainly speculative, but when you really narrow down the evidence, it's pretty obvious that this is Bethesda Game Studios' next game.
Well, put it this way, right?
It makes every sense, at least.
Every time Bethesda, pretty much finishes a main game, whether it's Fallout 3, Skyrim, they always say that they've started pre-production on the next title. If they've said that they haven't started Elder Scrolls 6, which we'll talk about, then they must be starting something else. So just judging it by what they've said in the past and how they work as a company, they're definitely working on something else in pre-production.
Yeah, and what I noted, and it could have been just a terminology mishap, but when I was listening to that interview between Todd Howard and Jeff Keighley, Todd said, well, think about it because Jeff Keighley was saying, it's interesting how much you guys are working on right now. That's a lot for you guys. And Todd says, well, we're always working a lot. And he said, if I came out before Fallout 4 and told you, well, we're working on Fallout 4, a mobile game, and something else. And I wondered if that was just a misquote on his part. But when he said something else, that means that they've been working on this game since before 2015. Whether it's pre-production or not, I imagine it's pre-production. But that's another thing worth considering is that I think that I didn't put that in my video because I felt that was like stretching it a little bit. I felt like that was a little too much speculation, but still, it's one of those things where it's like, okay, so something else is in the mix there that they've been working on. Well,
let's jump on to the later topic we're going to cover, but Elder Scrolls 6. Now, Pete Hines confirmed on Twitter that Elder Scrolls 6 isn't even in development. They're not even doing planning or concepting or anything like that. It's not even in development. So we'll talk about that slightly later, but mentioning that, first of all, Molly, how do you feel about BGS not working on their traditional Elder Scrolls games and doing something else completely different? Do you want to see a different game from BGS, or do you want them to stick to what they do best?
I would love to see a new game series from them. And maybe this is coming from someone who's familiar with the way Bethesda does things, but I don't expect Elder Scrolls very soon. So if that means they're working on something else right now, I'm totally okay with that. I expect many years between games, you know.
Yeah.
So, and yeah, if it's called Starfield, who
Yeah.
knows what that means?
Mm.
I just want to see more from them. Everything they do is great.
Yeah.
I mean,
As much
you
as people like to
describe-
rag on them.
You described
Starfield.
the not to cut you off, but I just remembered because
It's alright.
you described the projects. Let's say Starfield is one of them as Bethesda style game, big and crazy, but different from anything they've done before. So Starfield's definitely different from what they've done before. Big and crazy. I don't know what that could be because to me, I'm thinking when I think Starfield, I'm thinking like a Bethesda style Mass Effect.
That's exactly what I was gonna say.
Me too. That's what I was thinking too.
Oh man, I don't want to get ahead of myself, but that shit sounds awesome. But especially, I think I've been predicting that this one of these major projects is going to get announced in 2017, like at E3.
Yeah.
I'm going to get bold with it because if it's a new IP, it doesn't have the same kick. Even if it looks awesome, it doesn't have that same kick like a Fallout or Elder Scrolls, where everyone's like, all right, I know what that is. People are going to be like, what the fuck is Starfield? Why should I care? And so they're going to have to, I'm saying though, they're going to have to market it longer than a Fallout where everyone was talking about that this is going to be one of those like
That's
surprise. So
Yeah.
this is another guess of mine. A lot of speculation here, but I think it's educated speculation. I did a lot of thinking on this, all right? I was pretty happy
I
when
would rather, like, sorry to interrupt you. I would rather it be like Fallout, this Starfield thing, Elder Scrolls, like each year as a release instead of like Fallout, or like Fallout, Elder Scrolls. You know, like I like a lot of diversity. Hello, camera. Yeah.
No, you're right, and this is the thing with that. I just want to comment on Bethesda generally now. It seems like they're going to be sticking to having a press conference at E3 each year. It seems like it, anyways.
Yeah.
But what they're doing now is bringing just a bunch of different games under their family and trying to grow, with a bigger variety of games, more diverse games. But what they haven't really done yet is have BGS or Bethesda Game Studios as a studio diversify and make different games.
Mm-hmm.
And I think bringing on this Montreal studio allows a lot of different scope for that. Who knows? They might have also increased the size of the main studio at is it in Maryland? I believe so.
Yeah, Rockville, Maryland.
But yeah, I think everyone wants them. I say everyone wants them, but everyone really wants an Elder Scrolls 6. But as much as you would love to see an Elder Scrolls 6, this team probably does need to just spread their wings and do something else. You know, they've gone from Elder Scrolls, Fallout 3, Elder Scrolls, Fallout 4. Like, let's have them do something different, recharge their batteries, and move on to something else. Because I don't know, if I was in their shoes, I would feel like, oh, just yesterday I worked on Elder Scrolls. Now we have to work on the next big Elder Scrolls. Like, let's do something different, especially with Elder Scrolls Online kind of being in the market and being really prevalent.
I think one other thing that's worth noting is that Fallout 4 had a lot of random new ideas for the series that I think could have been used in like a Starfield, for example. I felt like Fallout 4 is a testing ground for a lot of things, but it shows that Bethesda isn't short of creative ideas or willing to take chances, so that's what makes Starfield exciting. But also, like you said, I think it's a good recharge for them. That's, I'm just going to piggyback you on that because I think it's entirely necessary because I think they need to establish another universe of their own because they do Elder Scrolls so well. I don't care if people say Skyrim went casual. Shut the fuck up, okay? Stop. you can't be a casual player and play Skyrim. There's so much to fucking do in this game. Yeah. You're not casual if you play all of Skyrim, okay? Maybe the role-playing elements slightly lower. Regardless, they're probably not going to make an ES game as good as Morrowind. But mind you, when I met Todd Howard, Camel said to him...
When I met Todd Howard...
No, because it just reminded me. Because it was a vintage Todd Howard moment. Because Camel goes, by the way, Morrowind's my favorite game. And Todd Howard goes, oh, we're going to make a better one. I'm like, fucking shit. I'm like, of course he did that.
It's such an E3 pitch. Like, oh yeah? We're going to make a better one.
Yeah, like my face started to turn around. I'm like, oh, fuck. Like, I want to laugh at him so hard right now.
That's such a typical Todd Howard thing
right?
to say.
That's what I was saying. I was like, he said it with such confidence. I'm like, holy shit. He just
nice.
dropped the bomb on Camel's fucking chest, dude. Anyway.
So, do we have any remaining or lingering thoughts about Bethesda Game Studios, Starfield, Fallout 4, Elder Scrolls 6? We'll start with you, Molly.
Oh. I think you're going to say Matthew. I wasn't done with my thoughts.
Matthew. Fuck off.
Just
fuck off.
No, because before I forget.
No, I'm all for it. I want to see diversity. I want the team to not, to be recharged. And to put all their creative energy. I mean, one or two people on the team have got to be like, God damn it, I'm so sick of Elder Scrolls. Like, everyone loves it, but I'm so sick of this, you know?
And on that note, because people at BGS have been like, it doesn't seem like an employee works there for a couple of years and moves on. They've had employees there for 5 years plus. Like, yeah, really long term. So when people think, oh, it's been ages since Elder Scrolls, but when you're immersed in it as much as they are, for them, it's like, okay, well, the last game we worked on was Elder Scrolls, like pretty much like before Fallout. So we want to do something different. We want to spread our wings. So what do you think, Matty?
What I was originally going to say is I think it's important that after Fallout, I think Bethesda needs to make another universe that's theirs, that they create the lore for, they create the story.
Yeah.
None of this bullshit with Fallout 4 where it's like, you didn't respect the older games, Bethesda sucks at lore, Bethesda doesn't care about the lore, Bethesda can't write, yada, yada, yada. They really need to hit the reset button, and I don't think going back to Elder Scrolls does that. I think a new project does that. So that's why, if anything, Starfield's exciting for any type of fan in gaming, because it's just a fresh start.
Yeah.
And that always
One thing...
What?
Go ahead.
No, I was just saying that.
I want you to finish your thoughts.
Molly,
that was the
feel
last
free to
time I
interrupt,
thought.
all right?
Yeah.
This is the interruption podcast. We do this all the time.
Yeah.
The one tiny thing in the back of my head is, all right, so Starfield sounds like something involved with space. The new Mass Effect game is coming out. No Man's Sky is coming out. I've seen a couple copycats of what No Man's Sky is maybe doing or whatever. I've seen a couple copycats. There's a lot of talk of like new Star Wars games coming up. Are we going to get infiltrated with space games like we did with survival, games? I'm a little bit afraid of that, but
or like back in the day with FPS war games, like we had so many war shooters.
it's so many. Yeah.
I guess in my opinion, and we have the unique perspective because we all examine Bethesda closely, but I think that's the excitement of it. It's like, okay, it's another space game, but Bethesda's doing it. I guess that's what it is for me, and that sounds a little fanboyish, but that's just how I view it. Cause,
fucking fanboys making me sick.
God almighty, I'm just getting paid by them. I remember when I said I'm leaving G2A, they're like, would Bethesda sponsor you? I'm like, they don't need to pay me to talk about their stuff. They're not going to.
People just don't know how the world works.
Yeah,
okay,
no,
sorry.
no.
I'm not going to get off that topic. Moving on before Lone gets upset. We're talking about Doom, and this is going to be a good segue because Molly started playing it, and we want to get her thoughts about it. So, Doom's first update is coming out. It adds a classic middle view from the old Doom games. It looks really cool. If you guys haven't seen the screenshots for it, have a look.
Yeah, I didn't know how to describe that in the script. It's like literally the gun is front and center from the old Doom games or the old Wolfenstein games. If you've somehow never played the old Doom games, it's just that the gun's like right in the middle of the screen, and you don't have to literally aim down your sights and stuff. You just literally point and shoot. It's pretty cool.
It's interesting though. On that, anyways, can you move your gun upwards because you couldn't in the old Doom game? Because now you've got like enemies like fucking jumping around everywhere like crazy people.
Probably because like boss fights and stuff. I'd imagine you have to.
It also adds a photo mode and has a bunch of various fix and balancing for multiplayer. I don't care what people say. I love the multiplayer. But Molly,
is
someone
streams on multiplayer with Doom.
Yeah. Molly, as someone who's just started playing Doom, what do you think about it, and are you excited for these new updates?
It definitely wasn't what I thought it was going to be because I am not a true gamer girl and I never played the original Doom.
Oh my god.
So I went into it completely blind and I kind of expected really story driven, almost like Wolfenstein but with a lot of blood and and just in hell on Mars or whatever. But it is not story driven. Like this is purely like a visceral experience and it's so enjoyable. I didn't think I would like something where the idea is just to destroy everything and to find the coolest ways to kill a monster. But that's what it is, and it's so great. But the one thing...
Sorry, go on.
Go ahead. Well, the one thing that I was like, I wish I could aim down sights. Like, that was the one thing that... And maybe am I missing something? Can you aim down sights? I use
the wrong terminology. You can, like, zoom in a sense.
Yeah.
Or like, it's an all-fire. You're always hip-firing, technically. But I think there's
you can't,
you
can't move the...
Yeah, there's certain guns that, like, zoom in a little bit. I think. I might be wrong. Oh, there's a sniper rifle. Yeah, there's that. That's kind of an ADS.
And I haven't encountered that yet. Thanks! Spoilers! I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Fucking Matty. No, but... so
that center gun thing was cool.
Yeah, and, like... I know, like, I've said that I wanted to see Doom add a bit more story elements, and they did, and I'm not going to talk about it because, you know what, I'm not going to say anything for Molly, but I would have liked to see a bit more emphasis on a story, and what I will say is that it seems that the DLC will do that, and I'm hoping that it will, because it seems to be leading to something, and as much as I loved the...
cameras went off for a sec. No, you can keep going. Keep going. Just flip it on.
This is gonna look great.
Yep. No, it's not. It's not a Ham Radio podcast without a tech issue. How do you guys like my chest? All right, there we go. It's gone now. We're good. Once Molly's loads, keep talking. Pretend this didn't happen. This is gonna happen every week, people.
So, guys, we're having technical issues on the Ham Radio podcast, and I just need to point that out explicitly that it's happening. And the cameras are still loading. Oh, there's Maddie. I can see Maddie.
All I heard was,
I can't
just
see
look
Molly.
at my chest, and then I heard like this noise. And I was like, because yours was still loading, and I'm like, what's going on?
That's brilliant.
Wait, is Molly's up for you?
Anyway.
Okay, there she is.
Now it is.
All right, cool.
Yeah. Okay, it's good now. Guys, we're back. Quick edit, but we're not really going to edit this, probably not.
No. No, I don't feel like it.
But yeah, so Doom, the DLC looks to be adding stuff to actually add to the story. Don't get me wrong, I personally love the visceral nature of the single player. It was a nice change of pace to other single player games. It was just about shooting and killing demons, and you had a lot of fun, especially when you got to new areas and you're like, oh fuck, why is the metal music playing again? It's going to be another battle.
I actually, before I add on my thoughts, I actually just switched out my mouse pad. See? Look at that.
You see what I mean, guys? All right, those of you that are looking at that, those mouse pads take up your like entire life. Like they're huge. They're fucking massive.
If you game, I like them.
Molly's gonna do the same now.
Here we go. We're going on a trip.
Do you see it?
I have that one. I have that one. Look how big they are. Like,
it's huge.
At first, I thought that was your desk. I'm like, did she just like show us her desk as a joke? Like literally, I thought it was like a wood desk. I was so confused. Then I realized it was a mouse pad.
That's brilliant.
I agree with you though, Lone, that Doom needed a little more story focus. The only reason I say that personally is because I think no one expected that from Wolfenstein. That took that from a great game to an amazing game. Because
I keep saying about good stories.
Yeah, it was like a really action-packed game. It was like this action and the stealth, the freedom of gameplay choice. Awesome. It's like, it was a good story too. What the fuck? And so with Doom, I didn't walk in with those expectations. I knew it was going to be mainly focused on let's kill everything in sight. But when they introduced a really cool story in the beginning, a nice mystery, and it just devolved into kill this, shoot that, fuck you, you know, to me personally, I still enjoyed the game a lot. It was one of my favorite games this year, not in the Game of the Year list personally for me, but I think if they put more of a story focus and didn't end on a cliffhanger, predictable one. Sorry, Molly. But yeah,
it's okay.
It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. You're gonna have to let it happen.
I'm not really invested into the story because right now my understanding of it is we're on Mars and the devil is involved in some way, and there are portals in which these demons come through. That's my understanding of it so far. So
yeah, they have like
I don't need much more than that.
They have like a codex thing in the game too, so you can get invested in the lore, but like there's no point because the story just stops. It's like, okay, well, whatever. Next!
I'll play DLC though.
Lone, that was your cue.
You guys don't, sorry, I had to mute my microphone because my mum's like, can the dog sit with you? It's cold outside. I'm like, for fuck's sake. Anyways. Oi, little dog, come sit on the bed. Oh, you're fucking annoying. Moving on, alright?
I hope your mom really sounds like that. Can the dog come sit with you?
No, she doesn't sound like, and that was probably really patronizing, and I apologize to my mother, but she's not going to hear this. So the last thing about Bethesda News Roundup is the Fallout 4 PS4 mods being delayed and the 900 megabyte limit for mod storage. First of all, let's talk about mods being delayed on the PS4. What do we think about that? We'll start with Molly. I don't know if you own a PS4 or not, but how do you feel about mods being delayed for that console?
I don't own a PlayStation, but when I buy one, that's probably I'm actually gonna buy one within the next couple months or so. I don't know if I'll buy Fallout on there. I'm gonna buy like PlayStation exclusive, so it doesn't bother me. But for people who play Fallout exclusively on the PlayStation, they haven't had mods up until now. can probably wait a little while longer. It'll be upsetting, but I mean, they've been waiting this entire time, so they can wait a little while longer.
Now, Maddie, someone that does have a PS4 and has Fallout 4 on there, what do you think?
I mean, I'm looking forward to it because I don't have an Xbox copy. I had to borrow Connor's to do a video on it. And so
I got sent mine 2 weeks early, just saying.
Oh.
Congratulations!
Anyway, what I was going to say, though, is because I want to start up my modding series again for Fallout 4. Because I know most of the... Yes, great name. I was so proud of myself. But what I was saying is that I know a lot of the player base for mods is on consoles. I know a lot of it's on PC, but I know a lot of the hype is out on consoles, so I want to make sure I can cross-reference and check what mods are on consoles and PC as well. But regardless, what I'm saying is that it sucks that it's delayed, but I don't think people... I don't know why people don't think before they act, because people were so salty right away, and I'm thinking to myself that, okay, I know that we don't have a lot of expectations at Bethesda releasing a bug-free product, but at least they're delaying it so that it properly functions. Part of me thinks that it's less of Bethesda and more of Sony. So only reason I say that is because each time they were asked in interviews and stuff about the PS4 mods, Bethesda was always like, yeah, we're kind of waiting on PlayStation, we're working with PlayStation, yada. It was always like something about PlayStation. So I know Bethesda's not going to say, hey, it's our fault, we're fucking up, but I guess just from what I've heard, it sounds more like a PlayStation, Sony type of issue, which wouldn't surprise me because the PSN sucks dick. It really does. I don't know. I know that everyone likes Sony, and I know there are a lot of people who also favorite Xbox over each other, but, you know, in the end of the day, I think actually, you know, why am I about to say my opinion? I can't stand console wars. I've bitched about it twice this week. If I mention either of these systems, it's going to happen again. It's going to happen again. All right,
it's going to happen again.
Shut the fuck up.
Is what
I don't care
say.
what system you like more and what you think is better to justify your purchase. We all like video games. I don't care. No one cares.
Maddie, you're clearly an anti-PS4 fanboy. It's obvious.
I clearly am an Xbox fanboy. Fuck PlayStation.
So this is what I'll say about mods being delayed. The community, every time a game comes out with bugs or a new feature or new DLC comes out with bugs, the first thing that everyone says almost unanimously is that they should have taken their time with this. They shouldn't have rushed it. I don't know why the same approach isn't being taken with mods being delayed for PS4. It sucks. Like, no one can deny it does suck. If you were looking forward to it in this month and you're not getting it, it does suck for you. However, if they were to rush it and it were to be bug-ridden, then you'd complain as well. So the fact that they are delaying it and making sure that it works properly is a good thing. And I don't think people can upset about that, be upset about that fact. And the thing that we need to remember is that console modding is a really, really new thing. It's happened maybe a handful of times in the past to varying successes. It's something that needs to be taken its time with, and, you know, the bugs to be sorted out and everything to be sorted out. Because Bethesda told us they were having a bunch of issues with PS4 mods. Like, assets couldn't load properly, audio didn't work with mods or some shit like that. There were a bunch of issues, so it makes sense that they had to take their time. Now, with Xbox One, it was different, because they had worked with Microsoft seemingly from the get-go. They'd said that mods are going to be available on Xbox One, and hopefully with Sony. So it seems like those conversations started after that E3, where they mentioned all the Xbox One mods and stuff. So obviously people on the PS4 might feel a bit jaded, but guys, whenever you get an exclusive for PS4 or things go your way on the PS4, you're quick to say, oh, PS4 is so much better. You don't get it your way this time, it's okay, alright? You'll get it eventually. Bethesda's working on it. That's my issue on it.
Yes, for those who think I am a fanboy, by the way, I had to grab my game collection. I have 4 games for my Xbox One. My PS4 collection, on the other hand...
Since when do you play fucking Halo?
I play it every now and then. But yeah, there's I think there's like 10 games here, and I also have a bunch downloaded on my PS4. It's a lot easier to get review copies on PS4, I've noticed. When it comes to third-party developers, but when it's exclusivity, like Microsoft exclusive and stuff, they are the tits, man. They are so good. I love them. They're so fucking good at... No, they're so good.
But seriously, like to close this and to not have a fanboy or console war, it sucks, but they're working on it. So let's just consider it from that perspective. And also as well, Xbox One, it's not like the mods are working perfectly on there as well. Yeah, they still have the 2 GB mod storage limit, which is hindering things. There are still certain things that they can't do. For example, Gopher had issues with porting over his mod to the Xbox One. It's not like that's perfect either. They're working on it. So let them take their time and not rush.
I think you hit the nail on the head where it's brand new. It's brand new. No one's done this before. There's going to be stuff to iron out. If you don't get it on the exact month, cry about it.
Yeah.
And you already have. You already have.
Gopher summed this up perfectly. It's in Bethesda's interest to fix it because they've said that with Elder Scrolls Skyrim Remastered, that console mods are going to be a thing on both platforms. If they can't deliver, that's on them, and that's millions of dollars lost. So they have every incentive to fix it. So let them fix it. That's all I'm going to say.
True.
And also, just real quick, I feel like maybe this is like unfounded, but I feel like Sony likes to release their stuff in a more polished way. Does that make sense? Like in a more professional, polished way, whereas Xbox kind of just likes to hype people up and release a bunch of stuff, and then there it is. I feel like maybe Sony just wants it to be really polished, whereas Microsoft was like, yeah, let's get on there as fast as we can,
Yeah. And on the 900 megabyte limit that I talked about before, from what we've seen, and we're not saying this is confirmed, but a tweet from Pete Hines has said that the 900 megabyte storage limit is on Sony's side. Sony decided that. Now, I'm sure Sony has very legitimate reasons for imposing a 900 megabyte limit for mods. For now, I'm sure it'll increase. The same exact reason why Xbox One said there's a 2 gigabyte limit. There are reasons that you and I and us can only speculate about as to why there is a 900 megabyte limit. I'm not blaming Sony for this. Again, if we understood the full information, we'd be like, you know what, Sony, that makes sense. And it makes sense for you to wait and then eventually increase the limit. So it's not like Bethesda's fault, but I'm sure it's not Sony's fault either. They had to make a call based on factors that we have no idea about. So that's what I'll say about that.
Especially because they're different. If it was Bethesda, I think it'd be universal. So it's even on both sides. So I think it's more so the Sony and Microsoft side of things. I have to admit, though, I think 900 is incredibly low.
But again, like there could be server reasons or storage. Like we don't even know.
It's definitely a tech-related thing. 2 gigabytes is reasonable, especially for most of the mods currently available now. But 900, man, that's enough to play around and get familiar with mods. But I don't know how much people are going to be experiencing. That's going to be a lot of downloading, testing, uninstalling for people. But
and lastly, PC Master Race.
Oh
no! I see those comments all the time where people are like, "Well, you know what? I have 50 gigs of mods." I'm like, "Do you want a fucking medal, bro? Like, I don't give a shit."
Do you want to go?
It reminds me of Nissan. Like, I remember one time I said, like, I have a pretty decent mod list. I had, like, I think on my Fallout in New Vegas, I had, like, 20 or 30 mods, and Nissan shows me his list, and we're on Skype, he's screen sharing it. He's just scrolling down, like, endlessly, just a list of all these mods loaded in. I'm just sitting there, like, what the fuck?
They were all new mods.
Molly. Those, you can't, like, when there's a separate category to filter out those kinds of mods on Nexus, you know it's a fucking problem.
True.
It's bad. Anyway, so let's move on to the next segment, moving on from Bethesda news. What we're playing and favorite news bit. So this is the section, if you guys don't know, that we talk about the games that in the past week we've been playing, and also our favorite news topic. We don't have to say both, we can mention one or the other. So we'll start with Maddie, because I'll be going with Molly first a lot. Maddie, what have you been playing, and do you have a favorite news bit?
Thank you for asking. Thank you for picking me first.
You're welcome.
Thank you. So, what I've been playing this past couple of weeks, I've been on like a grind in a sense. Like I've had that thirst to game lately. I love it. Feels good.
So thirsty.
Yeah. I remember when you called me, I got so offended. I still am about that. You're like, what does that even mean in America? I'm like, you just said like I'm desperate for pussy, and you're like, what? What?
Oh my god, that was funny as shit.
What I've been playing though, I went to GameStop. I was like, I'm just going to pick up a bunch of used games on stuff I haven't played yet. So I picked up a handful of games, but the one that's had my attention lately is Final Fantasy Type 0. And I said that last week on the podcast. I hear you cursing under your breath. Shut the fuck up. If I listed all the games that I've purchased and got for my birthday and stuff, oh god, like the amount of weeaboo comments would be insane. So I'm just gonna spare myself. Let you guys know they're JRPGs, but I'm not gonna tell you the fucking names of them. I actually should, just for kicks. Anyway,
This is the names are always hilarious. Go on. It's like Justice Force Gemini XX3.
let me grab my mic. So we have Final Fantasy Type 0 HD. Not too bad.
Okay, that's all right. It's gonna get worse though.
It is. At least from my perspective. We have Token and Kiwami.
Go on.
We
Digging
have,
yourself a hole.
yeah, we have Odin Sphere Lift Razor.
This is what I mean. These names. Like,
What are these?
go
They're
on, man.
good games. Molly.
Go on.
You're just a gamer's gamer, aren't you?
So Tokyo Mirage Sessions, Sharp FE. I think that's it.
Oh my god. Christ.
Yeah, that's it.
You done? You done, Matty?
Yeah.
You don't have any JRPG news to talk about? There's not a new Final Fantasy coming out as well, is there?
Actually, one just came out on mobile. But as for news, it's probably the same one as Lone, so I'll just wait. I'll sit here patiently and wait.
Damn right, you'll wait. Molly, what about you? What have you been playing in the past week?
Like I said, I just started playing Doom and I love it. I've been playing more Dark Souls 3 because I never wanted to end ever, but I'm really close to beating it, which sucks. And then I just remembered that I started playing Overwatch this week. And
Me too.
I actually like it.
Yeah. What do you think
really
about
didn't-
Overwatch?
I hated Team Fortress. I was never into Team Fortress, so I was really hesitant to buy it for a long time.
Yeah.
But then I was like, I just might as well do it, and now I really like it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like admitting that, and I do.
You hear that, Maddie?
Enjoyable
She
game.
likes it. I'm
What
trying to
is
get Maddie. I'm trying to get Maddie to buy Overwatch.
I
Oh,
have
God, it's
Overwatch. I have like 50.
You have it?
I have 50 plus hours on my PS4 because that's where all my friends bought it. So I play that game fucking obsessively. Dude.
Oh, so you okay? Sorry, I apologize. Look, when you said that you didn't have it on PC,
Oh,
I just
dude.
assumed you didn't have it generally. Okay.
No,
I
the only
apologize.
thing, no, it's fine. The only thing though is I wasn't like a part of the hype train or anything. People think because I put a lot of time into it and have played it so much, people are like, "Oh, Maddie, like just bored in the hype train. It's overrated." I'm like, dude, I didn't even know what the fuck Overwatch was until it came out. I just knew it was a game by Blizzard. That's all I
Yeah.
knew. I didn't know it was a hero shooter. I didn't know it was a first-person shooter. I knew nothing about this game. I didn't see a smidge of gameplay. I just bought it based off what my friends were saying. I was like, okay. And I played it. I was like, this is fucking awesome. This is so good.
And it is that much fun, and I know people. There are always people that like to say, "Oh, it's overrated. You're buying into the hype." Blah blah blah. Yeah, I personally purchased it because of all the good things that people were saying about it. And when I played it, I'm like, "Yeah, I agree. It is a great game." And the thing that I like about it the most is the characters. You know, it's not like a game like Titanfall, which I liked, which had like 3 different mechs, but didn't really have greatly different play styles. And obviously Call of Duty, which I used to like a lot in the past. Pretty much the same character, you have different weapons. But with Overwatch, there are vastly different characters that you can play as, and different categories, whether it's support, attack, defense, whatever it is. So for every game, there's always an incentive for you to play as a different character and to play in different categories, and for someone to always play a support. It's just great from that regard. There's a lot of variety, a lot of diversity, and it always feels fresh every game because you're pretty much kind of forced every game to play as a different character. That's what I really like about the game.
Yeah, absolutely. I think because people are like, oh, there's only a couple modes. Oh, it's only 12 maps or something like that. I don't know. But for me, heroes are modes in themselves. They're all.
Right.
It's not even like, in so many games they go, we have this many heroes and they all play different bullshit after Overwatch bullshit because each hero in Overwatch has unique abilities, unique powers, unique play styles. You have to play them a certain way to succeed. Learning them is a reward of its own. And like
And
I
the
said,
balancing in the game
yeah.
is perfect. Like, not perfect, obviously there are issues, but in terms of generally,
Well
it's
done.
pretty good. There's always a counter to the player you're playing as, even if you seem really powerful.
Only one, and they just nerfed him, but the only one who I thought was an issue
What
was
were you on?
McCree.
Oh,
Like,
McCree,
'cause
okay.
he could, when you press, elite, I don't know what it is on PC, but I'm saying on PS4, when you fan the hammer and you just like, just let out a whole round, you could take out like a 500 health tank with one of those.
That was a bit bullshit.
And so, the fuck are you laughing at?
Something really not that I should be laughing.
Is it because I went like
Is
this?
it inappropriate?
No, I'm gonna call my alone time now. Fanning the hammer. I'm so sorry.
Greatest moment on the podcast ever.
Wait, I missed it. Hold on. Wait, what?
Take a drink of water.
I think I invite anyone and everyone to call their alone time fanning the hammer now, and to yell out it's high noon.
Oh, alone time. Oh shit. See, I did that stuff in public, so I didn't know what you meant.
You can get arrested for that.
I'm
Manny. I wouldn't do
kidding.
that.
Fucking decency.
I'm kidding.
Oh my god.
Except for that one time I took a shit in public behind a
Oh,
wall.
that was great. You should totally retell that story.
Oh,
That was
God.
fucking...
Yeah.
Anyway, segue.
I was gonna ask.
I had to go, dude.
I was gonna ask a question. Who are your favorite characters in Overwatch?
They really need to invent a machine that lets you poop your pants, and it just cleans it up.
Well, he's just talking about it. Like
I'm right. I'm
favorite
right.
characters in Overwatch.
Think about it. If there was a machine that just turned it into like scented candles or something like that. It's all of a sudden a scented candle drops out of your back pocket. Oh.
Oh, how big?
Oh,
Yeah. It's like, oh. I guess I shit my pants. I didn't know.
I'm sorry.
Look, another scented candle.
To answer your question, so far I really, really like Farah, and support-wise I like Symmetra, but I haven't done a lot with any of the other
I have to
characters.
ask you, all right? Every time I talk to Nova, who I play Overwatch with a lot, he says that there's never any really time to play as Symmetra. Why would you play as Symmetra? What's good about her? Because I don't really know much.
Not like the other characters. I'm really vain. I was like, out of the support characters that I see, which one do I think is the cutest? Symmetra, so I played as her.
You know what? I'm not lying. I based my first play decision based on who I thought was the coolest, and I thought it was either Reaper or Genji. Genji's way too hard to play as initially. You really need to get used to him. So I played as Reaper, and he's so edgy. It's great.
Yeah, I know.
So edgy.
What about you, Matty?
See,
Oh, and Junkrat, because he's Australian.
I love
Sorry.
Junkrat. I get really torn because when I look at the hero gallery, I think it is, or the player profile rather, it has like the amount of time you spent with each character, which I think is cool. And I have like a really good balance of a lot of heroes, so I don't really know if I have a specific favorite. I have like a favorite of the week.
I'm gonna guess your favorite for defense is Hanzo. Am I right?
How the fuck did you know? You're weird, dude. You're so
Because you're
weird.
you're a fucking weeb. That's why.
No, I like him because he's good.
I knew it. I just had a feeling that you had to pick the Japanese character. For fuck's sake.
No, I used to use Junkrat all the time, and then I used to hate Hanzo. I hated him, dude. And then I got like really accurate with him, and just anytime someone comes up to me, he's like, bing. His ult is fucking awesome. The thing he yells, I wish I knew how to say that, to tell you the truth.
Well, you know, I was gonna say you know what the fuck he says. Just
I
say
wish.
it.
No, I don't. I
You
wish I
can
did.
say it.
If I
You
did,
can say it.
if I did, I would stand up and scream it all the time. All the time.
I just googled Hanzo, and the first suggestion is, what does Hanzo say when he uses his ultimate?
Like,
We're
I will try to pronounce it.
Oh my god, I'm totally...
There you go.
Wow. I'm gonna message it in the Skype chat, alright? And you try and say that. Because he does it like so well.
Yeah. What does Hanzo say when he uses his ultimate? So he says, "Let the dragon consume my foes." Holy shit.
But he says it really fast.
Ryuga waga teki wo kurao. That's what he says.
When he says it really fast, like, Riga Wakatiro!
Yeah.
Then the dragons come out, and then it's
like,
great.
"Oh."
Those dragons are bullshit, by the way. They're fucking annoying.
Double kill.
No, do you know who's my favorite character? And I haven't even played as him, because every time he plays and I hear his voice, I love it. Fucking, oh god, I'm losing my mind right now. Support character dude with the balls that fly around his neck.
Symmetra. Wow, Zenyatta.
Zenyatta. His voice is like something tranquility, and I'm like, I love you.
Yeah, because I'm so like weird with that game because it has so many tiny little details that I really, really like. For example, with Diva, when you do a melee attack, I noticed when she uses she like swings her arm. And I looked at the handle because she's inside this robot controlling it. Is like when she does that, she pushes the handle and then she lets go, and you see like a little button unclick, and it's just like the tiny little details. And so with Zenyatta, I noticed when you, it's such a weird thing, but when you jump, he puts his hands back together because he only floats around. He keeps his fingers kind of like this, like all together. And when you jump, he just keeps going like this, so it looks like he's fucking clapping.
I love watching people play Zenyatta because they're just throwing orbs everywhere. But if I was to pick a support, it would have to be Mercy. I mean, Mercy's just a stock standard support, but she's really good as a support.
I don't like her just
I think
because
she's the best support.
She's the best
is,
support.
but and I know this is why she can't, because she is the best one, but she just can't fight back. And for me as a player,
She has a pistol.
Yeah, I know, but I don't like that pistol. So for me as a player, I'm not a fan of that. I like Zenyatta because he can just at least toss a Discord orb and someone can just rip him down. For me, I love Zarya. Have you guys tried Zarya?
I haven't tried
She
Zarya.
pisses me off every time I fight one of them.
I love Zarya.
One of my favorite characters is becoming Reinhardt. Every time we play Payload, it's just the best character, the best tank to have out there. Because not only are you a tank, you got the shield, and you can protect it. Yeah, it's fucking awesome. And also Roadhog. I do like Roadhog because he's Australian as well. Great.
I don't know
They have two Australian characters. It's awesome.
I really like
Roadhog. Roadhog's Australian?
He is.
How'd you know that?
Nova told me. So if he's lying,
I think I don't know where he got that from.
Yep. Overwatch's latest heroes are ripped straight from the Australian Apocalypse. Roadhog and Junkrat. They're both Australian.
Oh, interesting.
I think they're kind of like Mad Max inspired
Yeah,
characters.
that's what I was going to say.
Do they have an Italian hero yet? Because if they don't, my guess was originally that they're going to have an Italian hero and they're going to have an Italy map.
I was hoping... Okay, hold up. I'm Googling it right now. Heroes. No, I don't think anyone is.
I don't think anyone's Italian now.
No, unfortunately.
That'd be a good hero, right? If they had like an Italian that shot fireballs out of his hands.
This is... You're going to make a Mario copy.
Yeah.
At least he didn't say pasta.
He has a snare ability, that just wraps him in pasta. How the hell not?
Why not?
So fucking weird. Alright, so...
Oh, wait, I have a news bit.
What's your news bit? Sorry, I apologize.
I'm really excited about this game that is coming out. It's not this week, but they finally announced the release date for it. Necropolis, which is like a Dark Souls sort of dungeon game. I played it like 2 years ago at Prime, and it looks really fun, and I'm excited for it to be released. That's all.
A diabolical dungeon delve. Okay. I'm on the website right now.
It's like a Dark Souls.
But it's
and there's co-op.
Like cell shaded.
It looks like a bunch of polygons.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Okay, cool.
Yeah, it looks fun.
Alrighty. Now, where's the script? So, what I'm playing. What I played was, I played a bit of the System Shock pre-alpha. It only goes for 20 minutes. The remastered System Shock, that is. Really cool. I hadn't played the original System Shock, but as you all would know, if you don't, fuck you. I'm a huge BioShock fan, and BioShock and also Deus Ex was pretty much inspired by System Shock, at least their spiritual successors. And being able to play a remastered System Shock, it was really, really cool. Especially there's this one point where and you've probably seen it if you've seen the gameplay. You walk through a door, and then you see like it's a planet of some sort. Kind of has like a Saturn's ring around it, and the music plays a nice like violin. Oh man, it's just beautiful, beautiful moment in that game, and I cannot wait. I'm actually probably gonna support it on Kickstarter.
I was gonna say, is it actually on Kickstarter right now? Because I plan on
Oh,
backing
you
it.
should see it. So System Shock. It's doing like stupidly well on Kickstarter, as you would expect.
Yeah.
So
Actually,
I
Chris
think they asked
Avalon,
for,
dude, he's writing for
so
the game.
Chris Avalon, who worked on New Vegas, is writing for System Shock.
Someone say New Vegas. I'm backing it now.
Of course you are. So out of a $900,000 goal, in 4 days they've raised $700,000. So people really, really, really want this game. Now I know that there's a bit of a, I guess, hesitation with Mighty Number 9. I know that kind of flopped, I'll say, from what I've seen anyways.
Yeah.
But there are
I still want to
good
play that game,
remasters
though,
coming out.
personally.
What's the is it like Ukulele or something?
Yes.
That's coming. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that though, and that seems to be a good Kickstarter funded game. So
There's a guy
really excited for System Shock.
There's one from the guy who made Castlevania. I think it's called like Bloodstained something, and apparently that looks really good.
That's right. Yeah, that's the other one.
And it does look cool, so I'm looking forward to that as well.
But
And
you guys ready?
I backed Shenmue 3. It's the only game I've ever backed on Kickstarter.
Are you guys ready for my news bit?
What could it
I'm
ever
ready.
be?
We're both excited for you, so it's okay. Just everywhere. It's fine.
The other day, BioShock the Collection was finally announced, remastering all the BioShock games. I am so excited. If you haven't seen the trailer, go see it. It is just a really nicely put together trailer, and I'll give you all the information now because it's in my head. You get the original BioShock, BioShock 2, and BioShock Infinite remastered if you're on the consoles. If you're on PC, BioShock Infinite is the same. It's not remastered because it's already good, but 1 and 2 are remastered. However, if you already own BioShock 1, 2, or Minerva's Den, you get the upgrades for free. So you can't fucking complain that it's just the same game we're given, we have to pay for it. You get them for free, it's a free upgrade. Again, BioShock Infinite is going to be the same. And if you already own BioShock Infinite, you already own BioShock Infinite. BioShock 2, I know Maddie's upset about this. We don't get the multiplayer, unfortunately. But I know, Maddie, don't shake your head. We can still play the multiplayer.
Yeah, I was going to say, the only reason I shake my head, ladies and gentlemen, is not like I was like the weird person who was like, oh, it's a niche, I like that. It was more so that Lon and I, we had good video ideas probably, but we
had very good video ideas.
Fucking do them anyway.
Just
not on a
remaster. You can still play BioShock 2. Exactly. Well, I remember playing BioShock 2 multiplayer to get all the achievements done, and my friend and I had to wait until like 2 a.m. in the morning for people to be online in America to fucking actually find a game. It was like kind of really, really sucky, but it was still great to think back on, you know? But anyways, back to I keep fucking testy popping. Back to the remaster, I'm so excited. So it's coming out September 13. It also comes with all DLC. Again, BioShock 2 multiplayer isn't included, but all DLC, all add-on packs that came out for all of those games. And there's also a director's commentary for the original BioShock with Ken Levine, which is I'm really, really looking forward to. And yeah, September 13. It's September 15 in Australia, which is a day later with time conversions. It sucks.
I'm gonna buy a physical copy just to fucking rub it in your
Maddie,
face.
I'm gonna get it early. You know I am. I'll fucking get this game early.
Yeah, I'm excited to do the same.
But yeah, that's pretty much the long story short version.
Are they upping the FPS out of curiosity? That's something
So
that always intrigues me.
The FPS, even on consoles, will be 60 FPS, 1080p.
Okay.
For all.
Cool.
So that's pretty good, right? And
Yeah,
then obviously
no,
if you're on PC, I'm assuming it can go higher than that. If you've played BioShock 1 and also BioShock 2 on PC, you know that there are some issues. And I think some of that has to do with games from Windows Live and all that jazz. But it actually is a fully fledged remaster. People are saying that it doesn't look any different. They have improved the assets. It's not just an upscale or anything like that. So the biggest example that I can think of, you know when you first walk into the tower after you crash from the plane and you can see Andrew Ryan's statue, the big face there. If you compare those two pictures from the original BioShock and the up-res, you can tell that it's a fully fledged remaster. So like the banner looks different, the bricks on the wall look different, and so does the statue. So I'm done rambling. what do you guys think about BioShock the Collection?
You want to go, Maddie?
I'm drinking water. You're fine.
I hope I'm excited about it because it'll give me a reason to play 2 because I haven't played 2. And I'll play 2 now because of that. One thing I found while playing through 1 a while ago is I would get like serious motion sickness with it on PC, and I don't think there was an easy way to change the FOV, so I'm hoping maybe they add an FOV slider, maybe that's part of it.
Do you know if BioShock Infinite had an FOV slider?
I think Infinite did.
Okay.
I could be wrong, but I think they did because I didn't have the same problem with Infinite, and I think it's because I changed FOV. But yeah, I'm gonna go back and play all of them, especially because we should have another new BioShock game coming out here pretty quick.
And that's the most exciting thing about this: the fact that Take-Two in the past have said that BioShock to them is a permanent franchise. We're getting the remastered game, so it seems like they're trying to prep people for the next BioShock game. I don't know if it means that the next BioShock game is going to be somehow related to BioShock 1, 2, and Infinite. I hope they go in a different tangent, and they go into a different setting. Not space. I'm thinking more underground, kind of like, like a lava-themed underground setting with railway networks and shit, and also like crystal caves and stuff. I thought that would be really, really cool. That's just my opinion. Maddie, what do you think about BioShock the Collection?
Well, I think I said on my Twitter, the most exciting aspect is, you don't open a Twitter account and create a remaster just to announce a remaster. It's obvious that they're gearing up for something new in BioShock, which I want to make a video on this coming week. But that's what excites me most. I'm excited to go back. I already have it on my PC, but just for my love for the franchise, just to support the series, I'm going to buy it again for consoles. So I never actually got... I'm like a trophy hunter. I've said this before, but so I'm going to try to hopefully at least get a platinum on one of them. I don't know if I will. Go ahead, call me fucking weeb, but Final Fantasy 15 comes out like 16 days after that.
I'm sorry, Maddie. I don't give a shit if it comes out 2 days after that. You're playing BioShock. You're finishing those games.
I am. I finished all of them already, but yeah, so I'm really looking forward to getting back into that. If I get it early, then it's fine. School's starting up, though, so I got to be really smart with what I pick and choose to play because I want to make reviews for games, but I need to focus on my studies, and there's like 1,000,001 games coming out this fall. So yeah,
there's a lot of games. And what I will say, if you've played BioShock, you understand how good they are, and you'll probably pick up these again to replay them in remastered glory. But if you haven't played BioShock, what I will say, if you're listening to this podcast at this stage, you're probably a Fallout fan. I think it'll align with your interests nicely. BioShock, at least play the first one. And I don't know if you want to wait for the remastered edition on September 13th. Yeah, probably a good idea.
Yeah, because then you when you buy it, you'll have that excitement of knowing you're jumping into like a new universe, and if you like the first one, you're gonna have 2 more waiting for you, along with the DLC. And Infinite's DLC is so good.
And that's what I'll say. If you play the first BioShock and you like it, you're gonna want to play the rest. I don't care what people say. BioShock 2 was a good game. It might not have met expectations, but it has the best gameplay and mechanics out of all of the BioShock games, I'd argue. I think BioShock 1 had the best setting and immersion and experience, and then Infinite had the best story. That's the way I'd break it down. But really excited for this. I really want people to play BioShock because it's kind of like, aside from Fallout 3, my favorite game of all time. And I would love for people just to purchase it and share the love for the series that I have, because I really do like it. I know I joke about it a lot and mention it a lot, but it's because I do like this series. And it's one of those series where I can think back on fondly and remember it so vividly because of the story and because of the twists and turns and that first feeling when you arrived in Rapture and felt hopeless. Those things you remember, and I cannot wait for the next game.
So essentially you're just a masochist.
I pretty much am, yes. I'm essentially the Sander Cohen of this generation. Those that have played BioShock will understand that. But any final thoughts on BioShock the Collection before we move on to fan questions?
Most of my thoughts are involved with the fan questions, so we can hop into that.
Sure. Molly?
I don't want to spoil it. Was VR one of the fan questions?
It was. So we'll ask that one first.
I won't say anything about that.
at mad220022. Sorry, at mad220023. That's a weird name. Okay. Am I the only one who wants all 3 BioShock games? Okay, guys, fix your grammar. What? Am I the only one that would want all 3 BioShock games to see what that would look like in VR?
Yes.
I
would like it. I mean, you're not the only one.
I think Infinite would make me puke, but I'd like it. But the first one had some genuinely creepy moments. I don't do
Standing
I
inside
don't
the
do well.
bathysphere while that dude gets stabbed against the wall.
Oh, that's great.
I don't do well with jump scares and spooky, and I don't want to experience that in VR. So I don't know if I would do the first one, but
oh yeah, the first one where they're like when you're walking through the bathroom and you see like the shadows, and then someone pops out of the stall.
I don't need to feel like I'm really there.
Or like the first one where like you go to this, it's like a mirror.
And Molly with like VR goggles is like, barfing on her fucking lap because she just got scared.
This is one bit in BioShock 1 where you go to this mirror and you pick up a med kit, and when you turn, like there's all this like fog or ice, and you turn around and there's just someone standing there. That would be petrifying in VR. But I think BioShock 1 would be a game that's perfectly suited for VR. Infinite, you might get very, very motion sick. I'm not going to lie. With the sky hooks and everything, I don't know how that would feasibly work in VR.
Yeah, Infinite had the worst fucking jump scare. When you're like in the airship or whatever, I think, or you're in the prison area, I think it was, and you like flip a switch, you just turn around, the trumpet face dude is in your, and you're like,
oh yeah,
trumpet face dude.
I don't remember what the fuck he was, but all I remember is turning around and seeing some scary thing. I remember it was specific time, 3:03 a.m. because I looked at my clock instantly. I was like, holy fuck! Like I jumped so loud, I screamed. I was so surprised, and then I looked at my clock and my parents are gonna end my life.
I love that you just called him trumpet face dude.
What's his name?
If I can avoid the motion sickness, then I think it would be really fun to feel like you're actually flying on skyhooks. But I do feel like I would puke.
It would be a game that you would need the Vive, I think, to play it properly. With BioShock 1, you could easily play it on Oculus and it'll work out just fine. But as always with VR, it's the cost at this stage, and I don't want to spend $1,200 on getting a headset. But it would be cool. It would be really cool to have BioShock in VR. So, at Chris, you guys have some weird ass names, guys. KRISHUFTH. What the fuck? Do you think they're going to make a BioShock 3 since on their Twitter, the location is Rapture and not Columbia? Now, I'll say this. I don't think it matters what location they have listed on their Twitter. I think the fact that they're releasing a remastered collection and now have an official BioShock Twitter is indication enough that they're going to make a BioShock 3. But I don't know what you guys think.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what I think. I think it's clear as day that they're doing something with the title. You don't just make an official Twitter handle, promote it, and all this stuff just to do a remaster. That doesn't make sense at all. None at all.
The location thing is only because BioShock 1 was in Rapture, and they're just...
And technically Infinite was in Rapture too, if you consider the DLC. I will ask you guys, what do you want to see from the next BioShock game? Whether it's BioShock 3 or BioShock Infinite 2 or just a different game entirely in a different setting, what would you like to see from that game?
Tough question.
I'd like to see... Here's what I'd like to see. Because I think a lot of people complain a little too much about the first-person shooting gameplay, so maybe a little something to change that up. I don't know what. Instead of maybe guns, add some melee weapons through the plasmids. That would be cool. But what I think I'd like to also see more of is environmental storytelling. I think that would... I know BioShock's always had that, you know, whether it was through the audio tapes and stuff.
They did a really good job at that.
Yeah, they always had it with the audio tapes, but I think more of that, more of the Bethesda style, and by that I mean, like, you see skeletons on the ground, and you see, like, a gun with empty bullets over there, and it's like, oh, this guy shot himself, or something like that, I don't know. But you put the pieces of the puzzle together if you're observant enough, and can add more context to the universe you're in. So that's what I'd like to see. My biggest concern is the setting, because you went underwater, you went in the sky. Where do you go next? And
underground.
It's either underground or in space.
Yeah.
And so I don't know where they're planning, but you know that's That's the only thing I'm concerned about, if anything. And I think concern is the wrong word, but it's just I'm confused. I don't know where I'd start with that type of series.
What about you, Molly?
Game.
I'd like, if I were to just like choose a setting, I really like everything they do with foliage in the game, and I like to see someplace with a lot of foliage, maybe like Rapture was kind of like reminiscent of Atlantis, something reminiscent of like El Dorado in the jungle would be cool. I don't think that's where they're gonna go, but just that might be interesting.
That would be really
but I don't think
cool.
that's where they're gonna go.
Like a really dense forest, and all the buildings and stuff are located like in the trees, and that's how you traverse.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. Like I'd be down for that.
What about you, Lone? I'm curious because you're the fan here. You're the big fan.
So I've mentioned that I would like to see an underground style BioShock 2. Oh, sorry, BioShock 2, new BioShock game. But I've said in the past that I wouldn't mind if they revisited that Rapture because I am a fan. But in all honesty, I'd probably say that let Ken Levine's story be as it is. If you played the end of the finished BioShock Infinite, and especially the DLC, I won't spoil it for you, but effectively, they tied together the entire franchise really nice, wrapped it in a nice bow, and gave it back to the fans and said, that is the story of BioShock as per Ken Levine. And I would like them to leave it as it is, not touch what is done. You know, you can have references to the old BioShock games and the new BioShock. That's fine. I don't care about that. Little Easter eggs. But at least don't touch the story as Ken has told it, because it's a really great story, and they've kind of left it on that note. So let's just have something different. It's a new studio because Irrational Games is effectively defunct. It's still there, but it's no longer working on BioShock. Let's have something completely different. Let a new studio tell their own story so it can't be criticized, similar to Fallout 4 for not meeting the law or all that shit. Let them do something different, and let's have a new setting. And because BioShock is a game that has been proven to be able to be told anywhere, whether it's underwater or whether it's in a sky city like Columbia and BioShock Infinite. So it has that flexibility. You don't need to set it in Rapture for it to be called BioShock. We can do something different.
Yeah, I'm down with that.
I'm always good with diversity.
Yeah.
So we'll cover this one really quickly because we've already mentioned it. At Real Vegas Gaming asks, what are your thoughts on no multiplayer in BioShock 2? I don't think.
Yeah,
I know Maddie and I mentioned.
I think it was a chance to at least do this, if anything, because BioShock has played around with multiple modes in a sense with the Clash in the Clouds or whatever for Infinite, and then the multiplayer in 2. They've played around with these types of modes where I think what this would have done is at least gauge interest. See, all right, like how many people are going to play BioShock 2's multiplayer? Should we consider a co-op component? Something like, do people like playing BioShock together? I think this is a good chance to see if that existed. I know everyone unanimously, when it comes to BioShock, enjoys it for its story, its gameplay, that type of stuff. It's the single-player aspect.
Yeah.
But I think see how things aged, see what people think, to just create a niche, you know, people who really like BioShock 2 multiplayer. I think that would have been a good chance to see how that would roll. And I don't know why companies don't do this, because they didn't do it with the Uncharted collection either. They just got rid of the Uncharted 2 and 3 multiplayer and just sold the single-player games.
Assassin's Creed tested it, and now they no longer do it.
Yeah, it's weird. I think it would have been a cool idea. I'm obviously, we have the unique perspective. Me and Lone were like, we want to do videos. That would be awesome to just play multiplayer together, because it would just be like, people would be talking about it, so it'd be fun. But still, nonetheless.
What about you, Molly? As someone that's never played BioShock 2, and obviously not the multiplayer, could you imagine yourself playing a BioShock-styled multiplayer game?
Probably not. It's the way I feel about the Doom multiplayer, and the way a friend of mine, Jade, she goes by Skin Teen on Twitch, she just, like, for a game that I want to play because it's a single-player game, don't tack on a multiplayer game, or multiplayer aspect of it, because they probably won't touch it, and what's the point? And maybe it draws away from them making the single-player experience better. But if people like you are going to enjoy it, then by all means.
Well, it's interesting, because when a game like Assassin's Creed after Assassin's Creed 2 tacked on multiplayer, I was upset by it. And I believe at the time, after BioShock 1, they put on in a multiplayer in BioShock 2. I don't believe I was overly happy about it, when I played it, I thought it was fun, but I think I enjoyed it more so because I'm such a BioShock fan. I think if anyone that wasn't necessarily a hardcore BioShock fan played a BioShock multiplayer, they wouldn't be as overly, or they wouldn't enjoy it as much as maybe Maddie or I. And the only reason why I really played BioShock multiplayer was to get all the achievements. So it's not like I necessarily played it because I was having a super fun time. I'll admit, there were connection issues, there were all these other issues going on with the multiplayer. We had to stay up until 2, 3 in the morning to find a fucking game because no one was playing it in Asia Pacific and in Australia nonetheless. So I can understand why they've done away with it, because based on their numbers and they'd have all the stats, people probably just didn't play it and it probably wasn't worth it in the BioShock the collection. So I get it. And probably the same reason why Ubisoft done away with it in Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, I'd imagine that it's just...
They should just release it for you too. That's it.
Yeah,
Just send us the
private
codes.
match. Yeah, that's all we need. 1v1s.
But we can still play it, Matty. We can still play BioShock 2. It's on
Okay.
Steam. The servers are... And the last question, which is not about BioShock, but it's about remasters. With a lot of remastered games on the rise, such as BioShock the Collection, Skyrim, System Shock, etc., what game really needs a revamp, and what do you think is next to be remastered?
Now, revamp's different because revamp would be like a Doom or a Wolfenstein. They got revamped.
So let's say remastered, solely based on an old game.
My pick is fucking obvious. Go redo fucking KOTOR.
KOTOR, yeah, okay.
Don't say it like that. KOTOR. You make me sound like an idiot. No, I think that these are games that if you remaster, just add a little more action-focused combat, they will age phenomenally. Because stories don't age. You know what I'm saying? Like if it's a good story, it's a good story. In my opinion. I mean, certain stories you could look back and be like, that's a little predictable. But regardless, I think KOTOR has not been played by enough people. I think that was evident by last year during the Steam sale. I kept retweeting endless people who had just been playing it for the first time. And I think there's a large audience for that game. It's Star Wars, it's an RPG, it's not set in this movie universe. It's its own thing. So for me, I play that shit every year. This might be the first time in like 10 years that I'm actually not going to play it this year because I'm just catching up on so many different games.
Wow.
So yeah, but I mean that's okay because I've played it so much that I think maybe taking a year off might be a good idea. But yeah, I love those games with all my heart, and I just wish that more people would go out and play them. I've been waiting for the Steam sale to put them up for like $3 or something. They haven't. That's stupid.
You're so disappointed.
What
about
they
you,
do it
Molly?
every year, and this year they're like, yeah, if we're gonna just say fuck the Steam sale, we're not gonna do daily deals, we're not gonna put KOTOR on sale. Fuck it, let's just.
You already have it, so
I want to convince people because they had it on sale all week last year, and I made a popular video. It had like 55,000 views. I was like, why KOTOR is a game you need to play, and like a lot of people
how
came.
expensive is it now?
It's $10 each, which I don't
So
think
people will buy anyways.
No, because $20 is a lot to ask for old games, I think. And I think $6 is not bad at all, where it's like, oh, I can skip out on a lunch
bad
out.
games too, yeah.
But you put these type of things up your ass.
Molly, what do you think? What's going to be the next remaster? What would you like to be remastered?
I have no idea what the next one is going to be, but there are a lot of games that I wish they would get a revamp. One of them is Extreme G2 on the Nintendo 64, some type of like arcade motorcycle racing game I would love to see.
Yeah.
They wouldn't do that though. There's no reason for that. But I would also like to see Fallout 1 and 2 and maybe even Daggerfell. And of course Morrowind. I'd like to see those remastered.
Yeah. The poor
Just the
Skyrim
earlier
team.
Elder Scrolls games, the early Fallout games, I'd like to see those redone. I don't think it's going to, but
Yeah.
I'd like to.
I'll give some left field answers. I would love to see like GoldenEye and Perfect Dark, those on the 64 remastered so they're like proper shooters. That would be awesome. A weird game that I played on the Xbox 360 that I think would go over well. I don't know if you guys have played Dante's Inferno. I would love for that to be remastered for PC.
I haven't played that.
It's not like a super great game, but it's a decent game. And probably because I just played it recently, World at War. I would love to see Call of Duty World at War remastered. Like, and I think a lot of people do because it's not, super space shooter, futuristic nonsense that we've been getting.
Probably going to happen whenever Treyarch rolls around with their next Call of Duty because of Modern Warfare. They're doing that, so I'd be shocked if they didn't do World at War.
Yeah.
Now,
and I'm also wanting that because of the zombies too.
I'm not buying Advanced Warfare for COD 4, as intriguing as that kind of is. I'm just not. But World at War, I will.
But
I'm not saying that out of hype. That's hands down my favorite Call of Duty. Hands down. I still play.
Fair enough. I think Black Ops 1 is my favorite, but they're going to release the Call of Duty Modern Warfare remaster separately soon. I guarantee you that they're only going to bundle it in the beginning, so people would buy Infinite. I keep saying Infinity Warfare, Infinite Warfare.
Infinite Warfare by Infinity Ward. It's
and then like Infinity War is coming out soon.
Oh yeah,
I'm looking for that. But yeah, so I think they're going to release it separately, and once they release it separately, then I'll buy it. I can understand why they're not releasing it separately initially because they need to drive sales, but I would like to pick it up and play that remaster just to have a renewed interest in the multiplayer. I know people say, "Oh, if you want to play that game, why don't you just play it?" But if it's a multiplayer game, you try and play Modern Warfare on the Xbox 360 or PS3. There are hackers, or you just can't find games. Simple.
Yeah. It's not the optimal experience. It's not properly working or anything. So, yeah.
So that's all the fan questions, by the way.
Cool.
Great podcast.
Yes,
Molly, thank you so much for joining us on such short notice. We really appreciate
every
it.
podcast like that. Thank you, insert name here, for joining us on short notice.
Again, those of you that are sticking around this point, please follow Molly on Twitch and Twitter. All of her links will be in the description below, and also the handle on screen. Again, Molly, thank you so much. We really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
That's all right. We always like to get you on. Because I wasn't on when you were on last time, as you said.
It's true. It was Maddie and Noah last time.
And why would you want to be on a podcast with them? Fucking losers. Maddie, do you have any closing thoughts?
No.
About how much you love me?
That's it.
Alrighty, and the way we like to end every podcast, sorry Molly, we like to get the guests to end the podcast as they see fit.
She had one of the most memorable endings last time she was on.
So pressure's on now, Molly.
You were like, all I can think about is dicks, and I just ended it. I was like, okay.
Oh no, I got one.
Alright, go on. We're going to stop talking.
Alright, everyone. Now's the time to go fan the hammer.